So at this time now, we move into Dr. McLeary's presentation, and he will tell us a bit about building trustworthy organizations, traditional and cultural factors within the Jamaican organizations. Let's give him a round of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Nice of you to have me. This is a mini presentation. It's not a long presentation. I would have loved it if it could have been, but I'm limited. So work with me, all right? So I am here to make a presentation in regards to trust. T-R-U-S-T, trust. And this presentation is really focused on my research work, which was to create a suitable measure, a suitable instrument of trust for Jamaica, and to thereby determine what factors employees would consider in trusting their organization. So the focus is really organizational trust. So you may say, so why is trust, organizational trust, important? Well, trust is important because it is a predictor of employee engagement. It is a predictor of employee engagement. So if you want to build employee engagement, then certainly you must build trust. Whether trust in supervisor, trust in organization, building trust. So let me give you a little bit on the research. So this is the outline. We'll flow in this manner, looking at Jamaica's goal, the Trust Project, putting a little definition to organizational trust, delving into the research methodology, and again, looking at the overall results. So Jamaica has some national goals, and we know and we understand that growing the economy is critical to Jamaica. We also know that increasing employment is also a major objective. Additionally, we want to have competitiveness in terms of our business, productivity. Now, this requires highly motivated employees, employees who are seriously engaged in the business. But I put it to you, we have not been doing a great job over the decades. We have not been growing the economy continuously. And many have done research and put forward solutions. It has been said that we need to retool. That's a common solution that has been put forward. The argument has also been advanced that we need to train our employees so we can get productivity improvement. But I say to you, what has not been popular in the dialogue is the building of trust. Not been popular. I have heard two occasions that it has been mentioned. And the Honorable Minister is not here. He has left, I take it. But I heard the Governor General and I heard the Prime Minister speak on two occasions. The Governor General at his throne speech and when the Prime Minister was being sworn in. They spoke clearly on trust, how important trust would be for Jamaica to actually grow the economy and to get us moving, get us off. But then I have not heard anything more in regards to trust from the national dialogue standpoint. When we look at the research in Jamaica in regards to trust, it is dismal. It's not a good thing. And there is much distrust in our society and even in our organizations, much distrust. And this would have a negating influence on employee engagement. There is worker demotivation. There is antagonism between trade unions and management. And there is low worker productivity. But if we are to build employee engagement and to grow the economy, then we certainly need to build trust. Trust in supervisor, trust in the organization. Very important. So what will make our workers trust their Jamaican employer? So follow me. Before we get into, I'm whetting your appetite. We need to do a little definition. What do we mean by trust? So trust is really having an assurance that someone that you depend on will do you no harm, will cause you no grief, will not fail you, will not behave in a way that is negative for you. But when you trust, you're actually making yourself become vulnerable to that person that you're trusting. Correct? All right. But when we speak of organizational trust now, Mayor Davis and Scorman definition is that it is an employee's willingness to become vulnerable to their organization based on the expectation that the organization will perform actions that are important to the employee regardless of that employee being able to monitor the organization. That is the definition of organizational trust. So it's trusting in your organization that your organization will do you no harm. So the goal of the project is, the trust project, is to create a model or a measure of trust for Jamaica, and then to determine what are the factors that employees would consider in trusting their Jamaican organization. Now, there are persons who took umbrage to that fact when we started out. And they say, why am I doing this and specializing in Jamaica? What is so unique about Jamaica? But Jamaica has some uniqueness based on the post-colonial environment, based on our history. And we are an island that has some serious trust issues. When you look at the studies in America, the Western world, Europe, they focused on three critical factors: ability, benevolence, integrity, or you can translate it competence, goodwill, integrity. But our thinking was, if Jamaica has some uniqueness in terms of our history, then possibly those variables may be important, but there may be other variables that are also salient. And so we started off doing some qualitative work, focus group discussions. Thereafter, a measure or model was created. So looking at the research methodology, we did three major studies. Study one, we surveyed 653 employees across 6 organizations. And study two now was a 2-part study. So study two, we surveyed 1,174 employees in 8 organizations across 4 industries. And the second part of the study was a longitudinal study in a company that was undergoing a partial change in ownership. And the third study was a comparative study of a bank and a utility company. So what were the results? All right. So this is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the model and measure of trust. And we are prepared to give you the paper that was presented so you can speak with the organizers and we can send it to you, all right? But what we're saying is simply this, that there are 6 major factors for trust. Ting, your organization. Is the organization competent? Does it have the ability to wade through the challenges that exist? Does it have goodwill? Does it demonstrate benevolence to its employees? Is it a caring organization? Organizational goodwill. Integrity. Does it say it will do something and it does it? And then the 2 critical and salient variables from a Jamaican standpoint, which I know will resonate with you all. It will reverberate. It is justice and respect. So, is it that the organization respects its employees? Is it a just organization? So organizational justice and organizational respect are 2 critical variables to lead employees to trust their organization, along with the competence, goodwill, and integrity that is normally found in first world countries. Well, probably I shouldn't say that, Mr. Branch. But the other variable that we must take into consideration is a psychological or personality-based variable. It is your propensity to trust. Because we are all I thought I would have beat the time, man. we all have a propensity to trust. And so this is also critical. So in closing, respect and justice are important cultural factors for employees to trust. Supervisory trust is also critical because as supervisory trust increases, then organizational trust increases, which suggests that you must be careful who you put in a supervisory position. We also found that employee personality is important with supervisory trust. The more neurotic an employee is, then the less likely they will trust their supervisor. But respect is the greatest predictor of organizational trust. And finally, some demographic variables. Length of tenure in an organization will actually increase organizational trust. Role tenure, the longer you keep an employee in his job, in a particular job, their trust will be eroded in the organization. And role and job, the higher up you go in an organization, the more you trust. And in terms of education, the more educated you are, then the greater your trust propensity. Milady, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Dr. McLeary. What is clear from your studies, the trust model, competence, goodwill, integrity, and very importantly for Jamaicans, we want justice and respect due. So it's very real for us.